Hello, it's Jeffrey with Real Nifty Vintage, and today I'm going to do a what sold in the month of December video. These are the top 10 things that I thought was pretty interesting. So I flipped through all my orders for the month, and I had a pretty strong month in December. Lots of orders came through, but these are some ones that really stood out to me. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you how much things sold for, how much I paid for them, if I can remember, and what the fees and everything were. So I'll give you the final total for each of these items, what I actually made. So that'll make it a little bit more informative for you. But I was able to get these 4 really interesting plates. They're made by Nortaki, and I'll slide through them real quick. Really interesting. I almost think, and I don't know if I'm right, I almost think these are free. And if they were not free, they were very, very cheap. So with that in mind, they sold for $114 for these 4 plates. Very nice. Now, I do include shipping in all my prices on my shop. So it's $114, and then I pay the shipping out of that. And then there's about 8% fee that Etsy takes. I just normalize that cost. It's basically 5% for a transaction fee, and then another 3% for the payment processing and all that. So let's just call it 8%. So the shipping on that was $32.50, and that means I brought home about $72. So very nice on this purchase here. This is another favorite purchase of mine. I picked this up in, I think, middle to late December. It listed it right away, and it sold to a subscriber actually, which is always great. And I knew to pick this up because I sold one very, very similar to it a couple months ago. I did pay up for this at an antique mall. I paid $20 for this, but the one I sold previously sold for about $80. So I felt pretty strong about it because it also came with this really cool box, and the one I sold before did not. So this sold for $85, and then the cost of goods on that was $20. The shipping was $3.05, so that means I brought home $55. And of course, I also already subtracted the 8% out of that. So I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I do 85 total price minus 8%, then minus cost of goods and shipping. So that's the way to do it. So very cool. It's made in 1929. Next up is this really interesting stainless steel. Is it stainless? Yeah, stainless steel flatware set. Really, really cool. I actually bought 3 of these identical at a private, I went to go buy one thing on Facebook from somebody, and then they were clearing out the house from their parents. I asked if they had anything else, and she showed me to their kitchen. She had 3 boxes of these flatware sets. Really cool. They were just like this. And I sold all 3 of them. Each one was $100. I sold the last one in December. The first 2 sold earlier in November. So it sold for $100 for this one right here. I paid $5 for this. So that's great. Really great purchase on that. The shipping was $8.22. And this is slightly heavier than, the run-of-the-mill stuff, of course. So the key to having cheaper shipping is using Priority Mail Cubic, C-U-I-B-I-C, Cubic. And that is offered through Pirate Ship. It's a company that I use. I don't pay any money to use it, and it's always cheaper to use it over using even Etsy shipping labels. So because Etsy doesn't offer cubic pricing. So very nice. Really happy with the way this turned out, and that was a good score. So I bought 3 of them for $15, and they sold for about $300 all combined. Wow. So yeah, $78 profit at the end of that. This here is a really cool thing that sold, and I believe I only spent about $2 for it. If you're lucky and you can kind of keep an eye out at auctions, and when they have a big pile of fabric, you just pay attention. Wool stuff is very popular, and especially this year. So this is a stadium blanket type deal. Wool, very nice, reversible, red and green plaid. It sold for $68 by itself. I paid $2 for it. The shipping was $10.33, so I made about $50. Very nice return on money for this guy. Very awesome. And if you're anything like me, this stuff is the crap that goes in a pile along with a whole bunch of other fabric, and it takes a long time to list it. But luckily, I forced myself to list it before things really turned cold. So very nice. Next up is this great poker set. I picked this up for, I believe, somewhere around $5, and it's really nice. The wood is in great shape. It's really cool mid-century with wooden poker chips. I did include my own pack of cards because when I bought it, it didn't have one, so just figured I might as well do that. But it's really cool. It sold for $60. This is a type of item that ended up going to California, and with offering free shipping across the board throughout the U.S., it's sort of hard to bundle the shipping price in and make it work for everybody, so you sort of have to average it out into the price. So in this particular case, going to California, I did lose a little bit of profit on my end, but that's really fine because cost of good was $5, shipping was $20.42. That means I netted $29. So that's still really good. And it actually did come with a cover. I did not include the cover in the photos because it was taped. It had a little repair on it, and I just felt, I'm going to surprise whoever buys this with the cover. So yeah, I sent it off with the cover. But it's really cool. Next up, another blanket. This purchase actually almost got away from me at an auction. There was a pile of fabric going. I don't think I was right there. See, they had two rings going on, so I really couldn't pay attention to both. Anyways, this older lady bought the pile, and so I went up to her and said, and I think she paid only $1 or $2, really. So I went up to her, I said, how much do you want for that blanket there? Like, I'll give you $1. She's like, okay. So I bought this waffle weave acrylic blanket for $1. So it sold for $55. Amazing. And the shipping on that was $7.45. So that means I netted about $42. Awesome. Yep, these acrylic old 70s things, they apparently do really well. And this even had a little damage to it right here. Some stitches were messed up. Next up, something I think is just kind of cool. Not like a huge seller, but it's really interesting. I love the color on here and the fact that it came with the box. Very neat. It's made by Kobe, and it's a tree topper. It sold for $34. Originally I had it for $40, and then at one point during the month of December I put a sale out on all Christmas items to help get them to move, and so that little bit helped it. And so the great thing about this particular piece actually is that I bought it with a whole bunch of other Christmas stuff in a box, and I only paid, oh gosh, it was like $2 for everything. Now, fun fact, the tree star that I showed you previously, just in the same video, the one that I mentioned that I sold prior to that, it also came from this $1 or $2 box. So that was a very profitable box, and this was another item in that same box. So, this could have basically cost nothing, zero, cost of goods $0. So at that point it's $34 minus cost of shipping, which was only $3.66, and that means I made $26. Very awesome. Next up, might as well throw in a piece of Pyrex. I increasingly am unable to buy Pyrex, especially at auctions or stuff, even estate sales. It's sort of on everybody's radar. But I did manage to pick this piece up earlier in the year, and I've had it for a while. It's a nice piece of Pyrex gooseberry. It has the ribbed lid on top right here with the lines going through it. It's a 1.5 quart dish. Finally sold for $95, and I only paid about, now I'm a little confused on how much I paid for this, but I know for sure I did not pay over $15 for it, so I'm just going to say 15. So $15 cost, $10.33 shipping. That means I brought home about $62 on this piece. Very awesome. It did take a little bit longer to sell. Whoa, what is that? Huh, that's interesting. And it was a photo of nothing. Okay, so that's neat. I think it maybe sold, it took a while because the photos are pretty washed out. I went a little crazy with the white balance on these. Next up, this is something I sort of wish I did not sell because I do think it's so cute, and I for some reason have this fixation on tropical birds right now, but it's really cute. It very much looks like Majolica, but it is stamped on the back Japan. It's probably from the 40s time frame. Yeah, I did write that, so that's good. It's a wall pocket, and it's sold for $30. So this is an example of something that's really not that profitable, but it's just very cute and fun for me. And like I said, I should have kept it. I ended up netting $15 on it, all said, because cost of goods was about $4. Shipping was $7.91. So yeah, really cute. Love that. Okay, so I saved the best for last. This is definitely the best for last. I bought this at a yard sale. I'll tell you how much in a bit. It sold for $125. The shipping was $7.03, and I paid $1. I know, it was outstanding. So this sort of stuff was complete luck in my opinion, because I know nothing about these sort of things. I figured that it was a cool looking hat. I liked the fact that it had the feathers in it. And then whenever I was looking at it, you know, just the quality was really kind of screaming at me here. I liked that it was stamped. It had lots of information in it. I was also sort of thinking back to an episode of American Pickers where they went into this Western shop and had custom hats made, and when they were wanting new ones made, they were, I believe, like well over $400. So I was just sort of using all that as a method of, and then of course it's $1. I can't believe I even questioned it, but I did buy it, yes, and that is the best deal of the video. So was happy I picked this up, and I'm actually still not quite sure what really is the factor here that makes it so sellable. I don't know if it's just the style or if it's the name. I should probably do a little research on that, because this is apparently something to keep picking up if I see them. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.